Hello everyone, I Tilak Patel, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication, welcoming you to the session of Power Electronics. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 2, that is Controlled Rectifiers, with HWCR in detail, and then we discuss about the analysis of HWCR and with inductive load. So let's start the session. First of all, as we discussed in the last lecture, that in analysis of HWCR we have seen that the average output voltage is given by Vm upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha. Here alpha is a firing angle, Vm is the maximum voltage applied to the system. Here you can also use the term ELDC or EM in place of Vm and VLDC. Now, if you want to calculate the maximum possible voltage or average maximum possible voltage, then this alpha value should be 0, because maximum value of cos is 1. It is possible when the angle is equal to 0 degree. That's why if we put the alpha equal to 0, then it should be equal to Vm upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos 0, which is equal to Vm upon pi. 2 pi 2 and 2 will be cancelled out over here, so final maximum voltage will be Vm upon pi. Now this is the maximum output voltage. Now if you want to calculate the RMS output voltage, means root means square value of output voltage, this value is already calculated in the previous lecture, that it is like this: 1 upon 2 pi from alpha to pi. Here we take the limit alpha to pi because our waveform will be appeared between the interval alpha to pi. That's why over here the V is equal to Vm sin omega t. The square of the whole value will be taken, and then the square root will be taken for the RMS value. Here for sin square omega t we have to apply the 1 minus cos 2 theta upon 2 for sin square theta, so it will be like Vm square into 1 minus cos 2 theta divided by 2. So whole value will be like this: Vm by 2, 1 upon pi, pi minus alpha, sin 2 alpha upon 2 raised to 1 by 2. So this is our RMS output voltage. Next is about normalized output voltage. We already discussed about the normalized value. Normalized value of any quantity is mainly the original value divided by the maximum value, means how much input is possible with the maximum value. It is called as a normalized value. Now over here we want to calculate the normalized output voltage. So normalized output voltage is nothing but the common load voltage divided by the maximum voltage across the DC supply, means the maximum output voltage, because obviously the rectifier has a AC input and output as a DC. That's why over here VLDC upon VLDC maximum is considered. Now if we put all the values in the above equation, then it will be like this. We take the value of VLDC and VLDC maximum from the previous slide, that VLDC maximum and VLDC value like Vm upon 2 pi 1 plus cos alpha, and maximum value, that is Vm upon pi. Now we put all these values in the equation of normalized value, then it will be like this. Here Vm and Vm will be cancelled out, pi and pi will be cancelled out, so final answer will be 1 plus cos alpha by 2. That means 0.5 into 1 plus cos alpha will be the answer of normalized power voltage. Next is form factor. Form factor is the ratio of RMS voltage to the DC voltage. Over here again the input voltage will be considered, and in the numerator term root means square value will be considered. So it will be like this: Vm upon 2 into 1 upon pi into pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha divided by 2 raised to 1 by 2 upon Vm upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha. So now this form factor denotes the degree of closeness. Means degree of closeness means the how much DC output is equivalent to the original DC voltage or overall DC output. That means by default form factor should be equal to 1, but practically it will be in between 1 to 100 term. Next is voltage ripple factor. Voltage ripple factor measures the quality of rectified voltage, means how much AC voltage is purely converted into DC. That means the ripple factor should be as minimum as possible, means if the ripple factor is more, has the more value, then the quality of the rectified voltage will degraded. That's why we should take it as minimum as possible, but it is not always possible to put it at a one level. So it is given by form factor square minus 1 raised to 1 by 2. This is one equation of voltage ripple factor. Another equation is of ripple factor is VL DC square minus VL RMS square raised to 1 by 2 upon VL DC into 100. So ripple factor should be in the percentage form. Into 100 is that we already have the value of DC voltage and RMS voltage that we have already calculated in the previous slides. You should put the values over here and then calculate the ripple factor. Now AC output power. We already know that the power is a multiplication of voltage and current. So it will be like VL RMS into IL RMS, RMS voltage into RMS current. Now this current is I is equal to V upon R. So if we put the values of I over here, then it will be like VL RMS square upon R, that is AC output power. Now if we want to find out the DC output power, then DC output power is equal to again multiplication of voltage and current will be taken place. Here again we put over here in place of current we put voltage upon resistor. So it will be like this VL DC square upon R. That means power, DC output power. Now the next term is rectification efficiency. Rectification efficiency is mainly the ratio of DC voltage upon DC power upon AC power, because how much amount of AC is converted to DC, that is called the amount of rectification, and if it is converted into percentage form then it is rectification efficiency. So eta is equal to V square upon R, VL DC square upon R, and over here power AC, again AC power is converted into the RMS term. That's why over here VL square RMS upon R will be taken. Now we already know the value of DC voltage across load and RMS value across load. So put this value in the above equation, we get VLDC. VLDC is Vm upon 2 pi square upon into 1 plus cos alpha square, and VL RMS is this Vm square upon 4 pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2. Here RR will be cancelled out, so it is mainly the square of VLDC and the square of this voltage root mean square. So if we divide this term, then Vm square will be cancelled out, again 2 square will means 4 will be again cancelled out. So the term of eta will be 1 plus cos alpha square upon this pi square, and this term will remain as it is, pi minus alpha plus sin 2 alpha by 2 upon pi. You can cancel out this 1 pi from this equation. So the final rectification efficiency is 1 plus cos alpha square upon pi into pi minus alpha plus 1 by 2 sin 2 alpha. Now let's consider one example related to this half wave control rectifier. So consider the problem statement which is if single phase half wave rectifier is used to supply the power to load of impedance 10 ohm from 230 volt and 50 Hz supply at a firing angle of 30 degree, then calculate the load current. Now in this question, first of all one phase half wave rectifier is given. So this should be considered. If three phase half wave rectifier is asked, then the equation will be different. Now the impedance will be 10 ohm. Here the voltage is 230 volt. Over here in the question, this 230 volt is nothing but the RMS voltage. 50 Hz is the frequency, firing angle is 30, means alpha value is given, it is alpha is equal to 30 degree. Now first of all we calculate the DC voltage, that is our output voltage, means Vm upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha. You can write over here E or V. So if you write VDC is equal to Vm upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos alpha. Now we put all the values in the equation. So first of all here the Em will be there, so means maximum voltage. Over here the RMS value will be given. So RMS value is equal to maximum value upon root 2, means maximum value is equal to 230 into root 2, means you have to put over here 230 into root 2 upon 2 pi into 1 plus cos 30 degree. So it will be like this, 96.6 volt. Now if you want to find out the current, then current is voltage upon resistor. Over here only the resistive term is there, impedance is 10 ohm, so value of resistor is there. Here no other load will be present, means no inductor or no capacitive load is there. So simply we put the values of this E and R in this equation. So the answer will be like this, 96.6 divided by 10. 10 is our impedance, that's why 96.6 divided by 10. So it gives us the answer 9.66 ampere. So this is the answer of this example. Same way it can also be asked to find out the RMS value or form factor. So you just apply the equation and put the values. Now the next is why half wave control rectifier is called as a single quad converter. So for this you have to consider the waveform that we discussed in the last lecture. This is the waveform of half wave control rectifier with only resistive load. Now in this waveform, from this waveform what will be the conclusion is that if we apply the supply voltage with the firing pulse with angle alpha, then the load voltage, if you see this load voltage and load current waveform, then you can conclude that this load voltage and load current will only appear like this in a positive cycle or either zero, again in a positive cycle and again zero. So it will never go in the negative term, it can be either positive or zero. So the conclusion is that if we draw this in like this form in 4 quadrants, like positive values and zero term. So positive values are over here 1, 2, 3. Again for this quadrant here 1, 2 and 3 will be here. Again if we talk about the third quadrant, then it will be -1, -2 and -3 over here. And again in the fourth quadrant -1, -2 and -3 will be here. So now here only positive and zero value will be here. So it is possible only in this quadrant, only in this first quadrant it is possible. If we talk about the second quadrant, there will be some negative value present. If we talk about the third quadrant, both the values are negative. And if we talk about the fourth quadrant, again there will be some positive cycle and negative cycle will be there. So the conclusion is for positive and zero value, it will operate only on the first quadrant. So that's why the graph will be like this, load voltage versus load current in first quadrant. So that's why HWCR is also called as a single quad-code converter. This question can also be asked in a 3 marks as an individual. Now the next is HWCR with the inductive load. If we talk about the half wave control rectifier with the inductive load, then what will be the circuit diagram? It looks like this. Over here you can see that the single supply is here with controlled terminal SCR is connected Here in place of only resistive part, here resistor with inductor is connected in a series like this, resistor with inductor. Because of this type of construction, there will be some lagging of current or leading of current, or maybe voltage lagging and voltage leading can take place, because here the impedance is not pure resistive but inductive part is there. Here the operation will be taken place in a two modes, mode 1 and mode 2. It is divided on the basis of the range of the firing angle. Here in the mode 1 it operates in between alpha to pi range of angle, and in mode 2 it operates in between pi to pi plus beta that we see in the waveforms. Now in this figure is for mode 1. Here please note the polarity of this. Here positive is there and negative is there, means X terminal is at positive and Y terminal as a negative for mode 1 when it operates in between alpha to pi. Now this is equivalent circuit of mode 1, and over here you can see that for mode 2 the polarity of X and Y is in opposite direction, means this is the equivalent circuit of mode 2 where the polarity of X and Y is in a opposite direction. X is at negative polarity and Y has the positive polarity. So now according to it, let's see the operation as well as waveform. For mode 1 we see that SCR will operate as a closed switch, and point X is comparatively positive with respect to Y. If you see in this diagram that X has a positive polarity compared to the Y terminal, that's why it acts as a closed switch and X is positive with respect to Y. Because of X is positive with respect to Y, here you can see that this is our input AC voltage. Now please see the load voltage graph. Here mode 1 means you have to see the range from alpha to pi. So from the waveform from alpha to pi you can see that X is positive with respect to Y. That's why the load current is again positive with respect to Y, means load current is gradually increases when it operates in mode 1 and voltage will be reduces. Because of it, increase in load current, the storage of energy is possible when it operates in a mode 1. Now what will be the case when it operates on the mode 2? So when it operates on a mode 2, it should be operation will be from pi to pi plus beta, that you can see over here. The load voltage from pi to pi plus beta and load current is again from pi to pi plus beta. So in this case voltage will be negative. Why the voltage will be negative? Because if you see the last figure of inductive load, this figure, then over here you can see that X is comparatively at negative polarity compared to Y terminal. That's why the voltage will be negative across the load for mode 2. And because of that negative voltage, here you can see that the voltage will be decreasing because X is at comparatively negative potential, but this voltage will induce the current, and because of according to Lenz's law, the induced EMF opposes the reason behind the current. That's why over here the opposite polarity will be seen between load voltage and load current. This load voltage will be decreasing and load current will be on a positive cycle from pi to pi plus beta. So because of it, SCR1 is at a higher negative potential at cathode compared to the potential at anode. So this is the waveform of HWCR when it is operated with inductive load. We will see about the details of this diagram with some other examples in the next lecture. Up to then, if you have any doubt or any questions, you can message me on my WhatsApp number or ask me on my email ID. Thank you for watching.